Hello guys, so in this video we will be working with some S3 features, and so to be specific, so we will use some Amazon S3 features that we have and we will create a static website. And as we know, static websites can contain HTML pages, images, style sheets, and all the files that are needed to render a website. And static websites, as we know, do not use server-side scripting or a database, and they may contain client-side scripts that run in a user's web browser. And so we will host a static website on Amazon S3 by uploading the content and making it readable by users. And so no servers are needed, and we can use Amazon S3 to store and retrieve any amount of data at any time from anywhere on the web. So what we will be following in this lab is like we will create a bucket in Amazon S3, then we will configure a bucket to host a static website, then we will upload content to a bucket, then we will turn on the public access to bucket objects, then we will securely share a bucket object using pre-signed URL, which is a feature in S3, and we will secure a bucket using a bucket policy. Then we will also use one of the S3 features, which is bucket versioning. We will update the website. Then we will view the object versions in the Amazon S3 console. Okay, so here my AWS console is open, and so we'll just start now by following some steps. Okay, so first we will go to S3 and we will create a bucket. So okay, we'll click on create bucket button. Okay, so as so first of all, we should know that an S3 bucket name is globally unique. Okay, and all the AWS accounts share the namespace. So after we create a bucket, no other AWS accounts in any AWS region can use the name of the bucket. So unless we delete it. Okay, so we will use a unique name for our bucket. So let's say uh, my test website 999. We will see whether it's there or not. Okay, so we will come to know whether this name is unique or not when we will hit the create bucket button. Okay, and then so for object ownership, we will choose ACLs enabled, this option. Okay, and we will choose bucket owner preferred. So this is already been there. And then for block public access, say we want our bucket to be publicly accessible. So we will just acknowledge this, and then on the for bucket versioning we will choose enable, because we might update our code, and so the objects in the bucket might get updated. And so we will also use the feature tags feature here, and let's suppose we will give the value department marketing, key and value. So key is department and value is marketing. Okay, and now so we can also use tags to add additional information to a bucket, such as the project code, cost center, or the owner and all. So now so we will keep this setting default for default encryption, server side encryption with Amazon S3 manage keys. So if we are planning to use Amazon AWS key management service, we can select this option. But for now, we will just click on create bucket button. Okay, here a static website on Amazon S3. Okay, so for that we have to uh, so we have to change some settings, and that settings we go into the properties, and in properties we can see the static website hosting, and we will just click on the edit button and we will enable the static website hosting. Okay. So now after that we will, for the hosting type, we will choose a host a static website, which is already been selected. And then for index document, so we will just give name index.html, and we must enter index.html and error.html. Okay, so now we will just uh, click on save changes button. So whatever changes we have done will be saved. After that, we will work on the bucket website endpoint. Okay, so for that, we'll just click on this. Okay, so as you can see, this is the bucket name. Okay, so this is the bucket name. Okay, now, so as you can see, we have received a 403 forbidden error. Okay, because so like we have not yet configured the bucket permissions, so we will keep this tab open, and so now we have to configure, so we have configured our bucket to host a static website. Now we will upload the content to our bucket. Okay, so now I have some HTML, JavaScript and CSS files that I will upload. So now on the objects tab I will choose upload. Okay, and now so we should have that files with us, so we can directly drag and drop our files, whatever files we have. So I have this one file, then, and I will just click on upload. Okay, so as you can see, I have uploaded the basic index.html script.js and child.css, which are the standard files for static websites. Okay, so now once the files are uploaded, now we have to turn on the public access to the objects. So for that, so objects that are stored in Amazon S3 so are private by default. Okay, so on the object levels, objects are private by default in S3, and so these settings helps our organizations data to be secure. Let's suppose, so now we will make our uploaded objects publicly accessible so the users can view our content. Okay, so for that, let's go to this page, and okay, so it's still 4 no, 4 or 3 forbidden, it's showing that same error. So now let's so in the action menu we will choose the make public using ACL. Okay, so we have to select the objects, and then we have to go to this tab, then we will just click on make. So what this is saying as a warning is when public read access is enabled and not blocked by block public access setting, anyone in the world can access the specified object. So we'll just make them public. We will go to this our website static website page and hit the refresh button, and now as you can see, we have we can view this website. Okay, so all the HTML, CSS and JavaScript contents are being served to us. Okay, now we will share the objects using pre-signed URL. Okay, so like let's suppose when we need a temporary and securely share our objects with a person or group or people, we can create a pre-signed URL, and when we create the URL, we must configure how long the URL will be valid. Then we can share this URL with the users who should have access to these objects. Okay, so as long as the pre-signed URL is valid, anyone who has it access the object, and so we will also avoid keeping the URL active longer than necessary and only share the URL with people whom we trust. So now what we will do, we'll return to S3 console, and then we will click on the objects tab. Okay, so we'll close this. So on the objects tab, so we'll upload a new uh, object. Okay, so new file. So let's suppose I have one more file and I have uploaded it here. Okay, and so now we will just upload it. Okay, so once the object is uploaded from the actions tab, okay, so let's suppose this was the object that I uploaded. From the actions tab, we can see there is one option called share with pre-signed URL. Okay, so now we have to choose the time interval until the pre-sign URL expires. So in minutes, so let's suppose we enter 2 minutes, okay, and we will click on create pre-sign URL. Okay, so now we will copy that pre-sign URL and we will just, okay, so as you can see, it's the object is visible. Okay, so using a bucket, so at 3:11, so we created so we edited that setting. So let's see, like at 3:13 the object should not be visible because we have set the time for 2 minutes. So we will just move on to our next feature, which is using a bucket policy to secure our bucket. So we can use bucket policy to secure our bucket. So let's suppose we want to protect our website files and make sure that no one can delete them. Okay, so for that we can apply a bucket policy that denies, okay, delete privileges on our website files. So go into the permissions tab, and then so in that, under the bucket policy, okay, so edit it, and then just, so I have this bucket policy. What this policy does is it prevents everyone from deleting the three files that make our website work. Okay, in the bucket name, instead of this we have to paste our own bucket name, so which was my test web, I guess, yeah, my test website, my test website dash 999, my test website dash 999, yes. So if, so now what, here we are mentioning the location of the files and the name. Okay, so this is the bucket name and this is the object name. Okay, so effect is deny. Okay, so principal is star, asterisk sign means all, and action, so delete object, so this action should not be in effect, okay, for all the users. We have to, okay, so we have updated the text, and we will just click on the save changes button. Okay, so now we will go to objects tab. So we can also see the time is 3:14, and is the still visible. Okay, so now see, so we mentioned 2 minutes in the pre-sign URL expire time. So now it's 3:14 and it's not visible. Now let's suppose if we try to delete this object, okay, and let's say delete. Okay, so as you can see, we have failed to delete objects, okay, because of the bucket policy that we have set. So we can't delete these three objects because of the bucket policy, and it's applicable to all, and the action is delete. See, it's saying fail to delete the objects. Okay, now let's suppose we want to update our website, some, there are some changes in the index.html file. We have configured the policy to prevent the deletion of website files, but we can still update the website by editing the html file and uploading it to the s3 bucket again. So let's suppose we make some changes in the index.html file. Now I have edited the index.html file and I will also show you the changes. So as you can see, first it was so you first observe that here it's saying served from Amazon S3. Okay, now the updated index.html file will have my name as created by Jayesh Rajput instead of served from Amazon S3. Okay, so we will now just upload the object that we have made changes, or a new object in that place. So I will just drag and drop the new object. Okay, I just upload it, and this is the edited index.html file. Now we have uploaded the new index.html file. Now as you can see here, we can see only one index.html file because we have enabled the versioning. Okay, now we have to again make it public because in this indeed S3 considered this as a new object. Okay, so for that we have to make it public one more time. Okay, so now once it's public, it can serve our static website. So now what we will do, we will just go to this, and so now you can see serve from Amazon S3. So if I hit on refresh, you can see created by Jayesh Rajput because this change I have made in the index.html file and I have uploaded it on the our this bucket my test website dash triple nine. Change is visible. Bucket versioning, it is turned off by default. So when versioning is turned off, so changes to objects can't be undone. Okay, so for example, if we upload a new version of a file, the old file is replaced with the new one, so the original file is lost, and if we delete a file, it is permanently deleted and we can't get it back. So however, when versioning is turned on, changes and deleted versions of the files are saved, and the previous versions of objects are not presented by default, but we can access them using the console or programmatically using CLI. And because we are keeping earlier versions of objects, we can recover them if we need. Okay, so it is important to remember that once you turn on the versioning feature, we cannot turn it off. However, we can suspend versioning. On the objects tab, what we will do, we will choose the show versions. Okay, so see, there are two HTML files, index.html and index.html, and so this is the recent version, and this was the version that I have uploaded with this CSS and JavaScript files. So the version is maintained here, and every version has a unique version ID. We have to notice that each file has a version ID, and these IDs are automatically generated by Amazon S3 when versioning is turned on. And we should also find two versions of index.html file because we have uploaded new versions of the file. Okay, so current version is the file we have uploaded when we updated our website. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thanks for watching.